Hello everybody, my name is Will Anderson. This is the channel that we talk about finance. We talk about economics and political things in simple terms. Today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin, we're going to talk about gold, and we're going to be talking about which one of these two might be a better hedge against inflation and might be a better hedge against rising interest rates. First, we must talk about what is money to understand Bitcoin and gold. Money has to be divisible. Horses are not money. Portability must be part of money. Fungibility, in other words, diamonds are not money. They all don't look the same. Money must retain its value. Bananas, apples are not money because they're not durable. And there has to be a medium of exchange. In other words, people have to accept it. And it has to be scarce also. Now, originally, money was not used. Ledgers and barter systems were used. In order to understand money, we have to go back a little bit in history and talk about the first paper money, which was produced in China called flying money. Also, in Anatolia, or Turkey, the first coins were generated about 600 BC by a gentleman named Croesus, who they say was the richest man in the world. That was about 700 BC. Trust and retention of value are the most important aspects of money. The chief, America says in money, in God we trust. On the original flying dollars that China produced, it said those who counterfeit will be decapitated. Debasement of money. Debasement of money is when someone adds a cheaper alloy to a gold or silver coin. This was done a lot by the kings since antiquity, even before. Also, they would clip the coins, and when people didn't weigh it, they realized they got less than what they thought. Originally, goldsmiths handled the money. They had already set up the buildings and places where they can safely store money, and people felt comfortable giving them their money rather than leaving it in their house. The goldsmiths, after a while, realized that nobody came back for their gold, so they said, what the hell? Let's hand out more receipts, and that's what they did. There were no legal tender laws back then. Legal tender means that you have to accept that money by the government. Money was basically a trusted thing. Now, central banks. The major central banks are the European Central Bank, the Bank of Japan, the Bank of England, and the Federal Reserve System in New York, a Federal Reserve System of the United States. What's important about that, because central banks manage the balance of payments. They manage exchange rates. So when trades occur amongst countries, that's where they sort of get involved. They also must hold reserve currency. One of the four currencies I have, because they're the most stable ones. And they must manage the money supply in the banking system. The dollar is the most highly used reserve currency in the world. It's 88% of the reserve currencies, which means that most of the reserve banks have to hold dollars in reserve. I said 88%. 65% of the countries are tethered to the dollar or pegged to the dollar. So as the dollar changes, their economies change beyond their control. The problem is this: when it comes to hegemony, or hegemony meaning you have the highest standards, is that if you could think about living on a block and there's one really nice house and the other houses are fair. If that nice house begins to lose shingles and is not painted, people don't have the same confidence in that house. They might begin to look for a different house. So what I'm saying, this is not true, but I'm saying if the dollar doesn't look that attractive, people might begin to look at the yuan. The power you get from hegemony is a power that is omniscient over every other financial issue when it comes to currency. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. And let's look at Bitcoin as a reserve currency. Like the dollar and the yen, it meets a lot of aspects. It's not legal tender, which means that you can't go in and pay your tax bill with Bitcoin yet. It's divisible, it's portable, it's fungible, and it may retain its value, although it is volatile right now, and it is scarce. It has a built-in trust system. There's no central control, but the issues in Bitcoin is there's no expansion in the money supply. It's very volatile, as I said. The acceptance, the scaling, and when you do proof of work within a Bitcoin environment, you generate a lot of pollution. So it's an environmental issue. Opposing to gold. Now, gold has been around since antiquity. Gold is thousands of years old. It meets all the standards of money. It's divisible. It's portable. It's fungible. It retains its value for the large part. It's durable. All the gold that has been mined is still in circulation as currency or coins or as jewelry. It's a medium of exchange and it is scarce. So let's take a moment on discuss on how did gold get to this place of safety in recent times. In 1935, Franklin Delano Roosevelt made Americans turn in their gold coin. He picked an arbitrary price of $35 a pound. In 1944, there was an agreement called the Bretton Woods Agreement, where the US dollar became the substitute for gold. That was the beginning of dollar hegemony. In other words, making the dollar the major currency that you have to tether to in order to do any international purchase or to change your currency. It gave the dollar a very special privilege. In 1965, LBJ, Lyndon B. Johnson, closed the door on the gold window because people were losing confidence in gold, and you had France and Spain coming with dollar bills saying, give us gold. LBJ couldn't have that happen, so he shut the window. The final ending of gold's attachment to the dollar was when Nixon got on TV during a very popular program called Bonanza and formally detached gold from the dollar. So, which is better? Think about it. I believe there's a place for Bitcoin, maybe not as an entity that would be a reserve currency. I don't think gold will get back there either, mainly because we are too used to, as a nation, printing dollars. We are too used as a nation inflating our dollars and passing that on to future people, to people who will not even see the result of the spending that we've done. I'd like to thank you very much for your time. Please give me a thumbs up, and please subscribe. Bye-bye.